Hello, sir. How are you today?
Mr. Colin Dunlap. Good day.
It's been a great week. It's been a
Hey,
really good week.
where's your Ford hat?
Do you want to hear something?
Maybe.
I it is being washed. It is in the laundry right now. How about that?
I'm going to ask Chelsea and Danielle to find you some more, please, and
Uh-huh.
and make them different. Ford Racing is a really cool one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. I was with well, no, I'm not going to tell you that. Anyway, so lots in the news, and yet still not the announcement we're looking for in the news.
Nah, no GM yet. I think it's coming. Well, it's going to have to be. They're going to have a GM by Memorial Day, one would think. But it started. I've started to be okay with them taking their time and getting the right person.
Listen, I agree with that, but
I know. Come on with it.
I mean, Omar Khan, there should be no other choice. I mean, this guy has given his life to this organization, understanding and believing that he was the next guy, turning down other offers. It would be really sad to me if he doesn't get it. And I see Brandon Hunt went to Buffalo to interview just this week.
Right.
So he must not be feeling too sure that he's getting it.
Well, I think that he's taking, actually, I know he's going to take every opportunity and every interview that is an elevation in a job, like everyone that is a step up around the National Football League. And I think he's smart to do that. Anytime that there's a chance to climb a ladder anywhere, you take that interview, right?
Well, you would say yes. Obviously, you would say yes to that. But if he was confident in the Steelers job, he wouldn't do that. So it tells me he's not confident in the Steelers job.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
Or maybe he's just trying to push the Steelers forward a little faster.
Or could be both. It could be he's not ultra confident and he's trying to play their hand a little bit, harder.
Yeah.
Something came up in the news today, and you're the perfect fit. And I'm not just saying this to blow smoke. I love talking to you and being your pal because you're the perfect marriage of nostalgia, but also you don't get caught up in it. You can deal with the now too. There's so many guys that are just like, I'm married to the olden times. Then other people that are too futuristic. You marry those two things. And this is a topic here. Antonio Brown wants to do a one-day contract and retire a Steeler. Now, you have a lot of old timers that say, absolutely, positively not. You have some other people that are like, yeah, what's it hurt? Where do you sit with this? With the whole, did he burn too many bridges? Because that's where I am, I think.
I think he's disrespected the city, the organization, the coach, everybody. I think the level of disrespect, why would we reward that bad behavior? That's ridiculous. And we did it. We allowed him to be here longer than
right.
he should have. He outwore his welcome here. And I think that would be I would be very disappointed. And it has nothing to do with old school, new school. It has to do with level of respect. And he did not respect anybody here.
See, I'm with you. And even if you have off the field transgressions and you do things that are like drive down McKnight Road 100 miles an hour and things like that, it's ridiculous.
But that doesn't bother me. That doesn't bother me.
You know what does? Walking off the football field. When he walked off the football field and quit on his teammates and disrespected the Steelers, I think that's when you close all doors. Very few people have ever refused to show up or quit on their team. And when you do that, you're done forever, I think.
Well, ask Bruce Arians. He was his coach. Should we bring him back? Or should we let him take advantage of the Steelers' history? Absolutely not. That's where it does cross. Because the reason he wants it is because the Steelers' history and recognition are probably number 1, 2, Green Bay and Pittsburgh in the league, right? Green Bay, Pittsburgh, Dallas.
Yes. Those are the three organizations you think of when you think of history, when you think of lineage and kind of what that logo means,
So let me ask you, if the Steelers say no, what does he do? And Tampa Bay won't let him do it.
No, he just he retires as Johnny football player.
He retires, but does he get to go in the Hall of Fame?
He'll go in the Hall of Fame. You could go in the Hall of Fame. You don't have to retire with a certain team. You go in the Hall of Fame.
You can go in the Hall of Fame with no team?
Yeah. Okay. So he'll do that. I think he's a Hall of Fame player. That's the crazy part. We have such a hard time.
I don't.
We have such a hard time breaking apart the person and the performer. When you look at the performer, and look, the guy's a bad guy at this point, especially with all the terrible decisions he's made. But
I don't think he's a bad guy.
Well, all right, let me refresh.
I
He's
think
made a lot of poor decisions, and he's caught in with. I think he has too many enablers.
You know what? I'll tell you, and this is maybe I'll even step backwards a little bit. I won't change my position on that, but it is National Mental Health Awareness Month.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that Antonio suffers with some disorders. Now, listen, that's not a slam. I mean, everybody that I know has some sort of mental health issue, just varying degrees in how they deal with it. And I really think that Antonio did some things that were just kind of crazy. And, even in Florida, in the house in Florida. But I can't personally hold that against him. Driving 100 miles an hour on McKnight Road, that doesn't have anything to do with, mental health. But there are things that do. So I would say still to get help, even where he believes the boundaries are in life, to be able to just walk off of the field at Tampa, the same thing, right? I mean, just deal with it differently. There's no boundaries in his world. And I think that's the part that bothers me. Everybody needs a boundary from age 2 to age 100. You can't just treat people that way without some sort of accountability.
Well, with all that as serving as kind of the parameters on him as a person, that's out here. The parameters as a player are in here, the way you look at somebody. And when you look at him as a player, there was a 4-year span where maybe it was just him and Julio Jones and no one better as a receiver. That is enough to become a Hall of Fame player. Does that other stuff that you just explained, which you eloquently put, and it's a very strong point, does that disable him from being able to be a Hall of Famer because of his play on the field?
No, I think that his play on the field affects the Hall of Fame. I think the other stuff affects allowing him to retire as a Steeler. I think they're two separate things.
So then he's a Hall of Famer. Then he's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, you can't take away his performance. You just can't take it away. Honestly, I mean, the guy was amazing. Really. When he wanted to play, he played.
I couldn't agree with you more. He's the most dynamic. I'll tell you this. He's the best football player I ever saw.
Really? Well, he's probably the best in shape other than James Harrison.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's like a specimen. He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But you really think he's the best football player you ever saw?
Live and in person, yeah. I mean, I don't know who was better. Well, I mean, I've seen Brady play, so live and in person. So Brady was probably better. But Antonio Brown's top 3, and I've seen everybody the Steelers have played live and in person. He was absolutely unguardable at times for there was about a 20 to 32 game span in there when he was just unguardable, Richard. Nobody could play with him.
Yeah, I mean, it did bother me when he took that hit across the middle. That bothered me, it really did. But anyway, enough of that.
Enough of that.
So what else you
got? There's a lot on the table. There's the infusion.
I can't get comfortable here. Go ahead.
I could tell. It's fine. It suits you though. Yeah, I like that angle on you. It looks good. This is a young. Okay, I thought of this one the other day.
Go ahead.
If you had a kid, a grandkid, a neighborhood kid, whatever, and they said, "I'm going to buy one jersey right now with Ben gone. You still have T.J. Watt. You have all these people. Who becomes the face of this franchise right now? Is it Najee Harris, do you think?
Well, I'd have to see that from him first. I haven't seen that from him.
Right. Now, you've seen T.J. Watt, but he doesn't say much. Who do they build their marketing campaigns around?
Well, I really think it's going to be Kenny Pickett.
Wow.
I do.
Wow.
I do. I think he's going to be Kenny Pickett. I think he's going to perform, and I think we definitely deify our quarterback here. And I think he will have the voice. I really do. 100%.
We also villainize our quarterback if he doesn't play well. So
he's going to play well.
Oh,
he's going to play well.
I think he probably will. But I was thinking that because I think it's a really interesting thought because we've had a face of the franchise in the last quarterback for, 15 years. And even then, at times it was Antonio Brown, and there were different times it was, other people. But for the main part, it's kind of been Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger synonymous with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now they really do need, from a marketing standpoint, a strong force, a number one big dog kind of guy. I wouldn't be surprised if he becomes Najee Harris.
I don't think so.
No?
It's not his personality. It's not his personality. His personality seems more laid back, and you don't have to be outgoing. But I'm telling you, I think it's going to be 100% Kenny Pickett, and it may be Kenny and Najee. That's fine. And I love Najee, by the way, and was a very big advocate of his number one draft pick, as I was with Kenny Pickett. But I do think that Kenny's going to be watch and see. It's going to be all Kenny. And then watch what happens when he throws his first touchdown pass for 60 yards.
So, we've gone back and forth with this, and we've kind of not come to a true answer the last couple of weeks. Are you depending the first week on the preseason, or are you starting him no matter what?
No, I'm not starting him right away.
Man, why? Why, if he's so good, why?
I want to get him a feel for the speed of the game, and I'm not saying it would be long. I'd say 1 game, 2 games, then I would do that. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I would I have no really aversion to it. Just trying to strategize it a little bit, but I have no aversion to it because I think he's capable. The sad part to me is every night when I go home, I pass Phil Jacovic's house. And it makes me sad because I always wanted Phil to be our quarterback. And not that I don't like Kenny, because I do, but it means that Kenny being here means that Phil won't be.
Right.
So I feel sad.
Yeah. Well, maybe he'll be, I don't know. Maybe he'll be the next Browns quarterback. Who knows?
Okay. What about that? What about that? What's going on with Baker Mayfield?
Well, Baker Mayfield has not found a home yet. Baker Mayfield, I think, might end up, who knows, with Seattle. He could wind up with Carolina. But
here's the question: can he play? Do you think he can play? You don't.
I don't. I think that Baker. The height of Baker Mayfield's career was the playoff night in Pittsburgh when he beat the Steelers. He'll never be that good again, ever. That's it. That was the pinnacle, and it's all downhill from there.
Where did he come from? Was it Ohio?
No, he was Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, he planted the flag in the ground, and everybody got mad at Ohio State. Yes.
Yeah. Was he Heisman?
Yes.
Yeah. Boy, those Heisman Trophy winners sure don't come out very well, do they?
No, not necessarily. Not all of them, especially a lot of the quarterbacks don't. But I think we saw what he was, and he never got better. Like, his curve stayed like that. So that kind of guy isn't going to be a superstar in the league. But the thing about it, Cleveland hasn't let him go because nobody wants to pick up a big portion of that salary to this point.
So let me ask you this.
Yes.
If Ben Roethlisberger played on a different team, would he have been the same person? Would he have been as good?
Well, when he first came in, it sure as heck helped to have Hines Ward and Jerome Bettis and all of those guys.
Yeah.
So I think he would have eventually been as good. I don't think he would have had as much success his rookie year and initially, but I think he eventually would have been as good. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's probably right. But he did have a system that he was able to just plug into. And I remember it so clearly in Baltimore, Tommy Maddox sprawled on the ground and then Ben going in and replacing him and never left, right?
He just stayed. And it helped to have Faneca, and it helped to have those guys, and it helped to have to be protected, and it also helped to have Antoine Randall and Hines Ward and Jerome Bettis and a lot of people where the burden wasn't necessarily just on the quarterback. I do think he would have struggled a little younger, but he would have grown into being just as good by when he was 27 or 28. Absolutely.
Yeah. And if he's watching this, or anybody that watches it knows him, you can please tell him that he still owes me for the closest to the pin that I beat him.
I hear about this. Yeah. I know. I
heard
you beat him.
So Ben, I'm sorry. I am not a golfer. I suck. You killed me, but I beat you on the closest to the pin one time. And that's my legacy.
All right, let me ask you something else. I saw today. just the other day. ESPN is going to put out. You watch the 30 for 30 series? Are you fascinated by those documentaries at all?
I'm not fascinated, but I see them. I enjoy them.
If I see a topic I like, I'll sit and watch. Like I love the one on the University of Miami program and how they rose to prominence. Yeah. They're working on one on the 2000 Super Bowl champion Baltimore Ravens. That was a team that I know, but this is where the question is. They gave up 10.3 points a game. They shut out 5 teams. They had they shut out 7 teams. 3 shutouts in their first 5 games. They of the 3 of 4 playoff games they played in, they gave up single digits in 3 of 4 playoff games. Will we ever see defense played like that again in the NFL?
Or is that was Rodney Harrison days. That was Rod Woodson on that team.
Yes,
my ex-partner. It was pretty exciting.
Ray Lewis, and all those guys.
See, to me, I got to be honest with you. Ray Lewis is probably the best middle linebacker I've ever seen play it live. Not legends, not Dick Butkus, but Ray Lewis. And what made him so great is he was naturally nasty. He was mean, and he could hit, and he loved to hit, and he loved to be hit. He just loved the game, and I really respect him for that.
Every time he hit somebody, he hit them as hard as he could. That's the way I put it when I talk about him. He never took it easy on
Monster.
So in saying all that was a year the Steelers split with them. It was a 16-13 game and a 9-6 game. Will we ever see defense played like that, or is it too far gone, do you think, in the NFL?
Too far gone in what way, Colin?
In that teams spread it out. They throw it out. They depend on points, and there's not a value in defense as much as there was then. They're like, if a team scores a touchdown, so be it. We're going to go down and score another one. All the scores are up now.
Well, I think everything is cyclical, and to be frank with you, I was surprised the Steelers didn't draft more defensive players.
Okay.
I was. I love everybody they picked. I love their free agency, but I really, really do believe in that defense. I really do. And I think long-term success, you have to do that. And you have to build it from defense. The offense, really, I think we addressed that heavily because we were just so bad. And we needed to do that. So I think that's huge. But defense, I do think there will be a focus on defense.
I think that so many teams looked around the NFL, and it's almost an error in some regards. And they said, well, everybody else is stocking up on offense and trying to score 35 points a game. We need to match them as opposed to try to stop them.
See, I would have gone the other way. I
agree.
I would have gone the other way. I would have done the quarterback. I would have given him the protection. We already gave him a running back. But I don't want to have to depend on 35 points a game. I want to be able to win that game at 20. I want to be able to win the game at 21 points. I don't want to have to score 35.
You're preaching to the choir.
Because then you change the whole game. Then you put the ball on the shoulders of the offense, and everybody's looking for it.
This is the conversation. This is the heart of it, and I'm glad you went there. You know how you said the Steelers took all offensive players and so much offense? You know why I think they did that? Why? I think they saw the Bengals go to the Super Bowl, and instead of saying, I want to stop the Bengals, they said, we need to score with them. And I think that's the wrong tack a little bit, Richard. I do.
Well, I think I'm not sure you can really say that though, Colin. I do. If that were the tact, I believe so. But the tact to me was get us a freaking quarterback now. We needed that regardless of how many points we want to score, regardless of Joe Burrow, whatever his name is, because he's a one and done anyway. But
he is.
So regardless of that, the Steelers had that need anyway. Regardless of that thinking, the Steelers had the need for a line. So we knew those things. And so I don't think they did do that strategically. I think they did that out of necessity. But I do think I was surprised we didn't take a few more defensive players, but we had offensive players that we needed to replace also. And so, now you have Deontay's your longest term player on offense.
Right. In a psychological study of Richard Bazzy, no one has fallen off the Richard Bazzy bandwagon faster than Joe Burrow did in the week between the AFC Championship game and the Super Bowl. You were like a kind of a fan of his. And then he started wearing crazy clothes and talking in the third person. And you said, I can't stand the guy. And it happened in like 4 days' time, Richard.
And then it culminated when he was wearing the zebra suit to the Super Bowl. However, you will notice I'm wearing his glasses.
His glasses. But you were a fan of his, and 7 days later, you couldn't stand him. It was
terrible. It's terrible. It's like, wait a minute, man. Come on. It's almost like Kyler Murray when he kept showing the repeat that all night they showed them, you know, as a 10-year-old drilling a kid, that poor defensive kiss, and they're proud of it. I mean, come on, man. You fall in love. It's like, you know, once upon a time somebody said to me, you know, I had this girlfriend, and the one thing about her was we were in love with the same person, her. That wasn't me. That was somebody friend of mine.
All right. So before we get out of here, next week at this time, do the Steelers have a general manager next time we talk?
What's the date?
It is the 18th. It's the 20th right now. It'll be the 27th next week.
Yes.
Woo.
Yes, I do. I think so. I think they have to have somebody after Memorial Day going into starting June. Got to be ready.
You know my prediction, because I know how teams work with the media. Friday at 4:30 before Memorial Day, they'll name the general manager headed into the long weekend.
And you probably have a better insight to that than I do. I'm strictly a fan, or not so much fan. But so here's the thing. I will never, ever go against Omar Khan or predict anything that's a negative. He is my guy as a person, as a friend, as a professional. I love him. And I believe he should get the job. I believe he will get the job. But if he doesn't get the job, who do you think does?
Brandon Hunt.
Yeah.
I think they're going to go all the way around the block and talk to all these people and realize the best thing, whether it's Brandon or Omar, the best thing is right here. I really do. I feel that way.
I hope so. I do hope it keeps it. But if it's not either of those, it would be just mind-boggling to me if it weren't one of those two. But what about Tomlin being a GM?
Too much, and I don't think he wants to do it. He has enough pressure on game day, and he knows he has enough pressure, and he doesn't want to get into a Belichick role.
Yeah.
Where and you know what, frankly, and this is something that people talk about power and whatever. Maybe he just doesn't want to work that much. Maybe he wants to take a month off or so. And when you're the general manager, you don't get that time off.
Do you really think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, so let me ask you this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick. I'm trying to do something. Got to do this. I can't. But you almost have to ask this question. Penguins were eliminated.
Right.
Wow. How many years in a row did they get eliminated in round one?
4 in the first round, 5 early exits. Yes.
Wow.
Letang here. Letang stays. Malkin goes. Obviously, Sidney Crosby stays. Not tell Malkin to hit the road, but he's going to be too expensive for what he does. He's kind of just a power play guy at this point. Letang, you have the money to spend on Letang. He gives you too many minutes, and no one can match his skill set, even though he's ultra frustrating at times. I think you keep him. You have to part with Rust because he's too expensive. You maybe get Raquel or someone like that. And, of course, Crosby sticks around. There's your team. But you have a goalie situation now. You got to figure out what you got with the goalies.
2 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
2 years in a row, Jari's in goal. I don't care if he was hurt. I don't care. You played, right? You're on the ice. Everybody tells me I'm wrong, and I am not a hockey expert. But and everybody tells me, even in my own organization, you know, we do a lot of things with him. I thought, am I wrong? And you know way more about hockey. He was flopping around that goal like he was a porpoise.
I'll give him a pass this year because if it was a regular circumstance, he wouldn't have been out there. His foot was still not healed. And he
shouldn't have been there.
But even in that state, I think he thought and the team thought he was better than the main.
We won 3 games.
I know.
Him.
I understand.
Without him. 3.
But after Game 6, whenever it was awful, the overtime game, and especially the goal to send it back to New York, I think they just said, you have to play. You've got to get out there. I'm higher on Jari than a lot of people are. I think he'll be okay.
You are. I know you like my guy Adam Abraham. And
yes.
Adam,
plus, Jari drives a nice Raptor. Like this is his third one, and he's a super good guy.
He is a super good guy, but man, I'm looking at the W's and the L's, and you know, I don't know. Of course, Mike Sullivan is franchise golden, right?
That he's on notice. I think that this is the last time it happens, or he goes.
Do you think new ownership group has any input into that? You think like Michael Jordan could say, or LeBron James could say, hey, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore.
I think John Henry can, the guy that owns the Red Sox and that owns Liverpool. I think he absolutely can. And they're about making money and not having any sort of, even when they rebuild, they don't hit rock bottom. Yeah, absolutely. They have a lot of say.
Is he the primary shareholder?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's the Red Sox, it's Liverpool soccer, and it's the Penguins.
Well, the Red Sox are iconic and legendary. So
yes,
for a reason, they don't tolerate losing. But we seem to tolerate losing more than I think we should.
I don't. Too many people do. Too many Pittsburghers got used to it, and I think it's a lot of people that love bobbleheads and fireworks and getting a free giveaway that tolerate losing. It irks the heck out of me that we think it's okay. I don't. Not me.
I always love you. You're the best.
All right.
Thank you. Sorry for the extended time today.
Oh, I enjoyed it.
We always enjoy it.
Next week it is. See you, Richard.
See you, Colin. Thank you.